Welcome back to another episode of Baxter's Buzz. I am Baxter E. Hall. I appreciate you listening, watching, wherever platform you're on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to my frequency. I pray that when you are checking us out, that you take something away from it, and that it finds you in great spirits. Today, I want to talk about a book. It's called The Dip, and it was written by Seth Goden back in 2007, if I'm not mistaken. The dip is one of the things that he describes a particular situation. It could be a job, it could be a project, maybe it's a relationship. He talks about a couple of other scenarios as well. So, a dip, a cul-de-sac, and also a cliff, right? So, a dip is something that starts out nicely. It gets really difficult, and then when you push through it, it gets even better on the other side of it. A cul-de-sac is something where he describes as not incredibly terrible, but not incredibly great, and sort of like a cul-de-sac in a subdivision. Uh, they ain't got nowhere to go. It's you just kind of stuck, right? And a cliff is something where he describes as sort of a cul-de-sac that just sort of ends badly, right? So it's not very rewarding to begin with. Next thing you know, man, I'm in a scenario that really, really stings. And the book talks about sort of how do you know where you are and what should you do. So we've, been taught don't give up, don't quit, hang in there, see these things through. But what exactly is worth your time and what isn't? Sometimes you don't know. Um, Sometimes these things feel like dips, and they feel like maybe if you could kind of push through that you'll get through them. Sometimes a dip feels like a cliff, right? Things feel so bad. You're starting to question your reason for being in this situation to begin with. And then the cul-de-sac is, like I said, a dead end. It's one of those things that kind of takes you around and around. Said not incredibly terrible, not incredibly great, but no real progress. So, I am a part of a number of um, associations and groups, and there's a lot to consider when you're talking about your time and what's worthy of it, right? I'm married. I have a full time job. I have children, and these are things that are deserving of my time and attention, and some things aren't. So I have been dealing with something and not knowing kind of where to go and if things would get better with one of the associations that I'm a part of. And I made at one point I felt guilty, and then I decided, no, I don't feel guilty. This is my time that I'm pouring into this thing, and it really feels like a cul-de-sac at best. And so I have to remove myself from this in order to protect my time and make sure that my time is being spent wisely. Some things aren't cut and dry. There's a certain guilt that we may feel when we feel like we're giving up on a situation. Um, you know, and sometimes it's hard to identify what is what. What I spent time doing is sort of just praying about it, trying to determine kind of how I felt internally about it. Was I afraid of the work? Was I afraid of the people that I was dealing with? Or was it just not fulfilling? It felt like sort of a black hole, right? Because there's things that we do that pulls a lot from us, but there's like a sense of fulfillment at the end of it. And sometimes you feel like, man, I just really you know, poured these hours of this time and this effort or this energy or this attention down the drain. So as it relates to this particular thing, I'm out. As it stands now, there's no guilt. I have too much going on to be guilty, and I have to make sure that things are worth my time. So, what are some things that you guys are dealing with? It could be a dead end job, right? It could be a number of projects that you've gotten started, and for whatever reason, you're kind of stuck in limbo. But the thing about the dip is, if it's truly a dip, it will get greater later. It's just a matter of having that stick with itness to get through that, so that you can see what's ahead on the other side. So we'd love to hear some of the things that you've experienced over your years, and were there in fact dips, dead ends, or cliffs? And yeah, we'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks again for checking me out. And until next time, appreciate all you guys. Peace.